if you think about it, overall, there is a clear commitment to stay the course from the Fed, ongoing policy support, keeping the financial conditions easy, and to some extent, the impact on the US dollar. And if you look at the move in the dollar over the last few months and then again overnight, it's supportive for Asian risk assets when you think about it in terms of the weaker dollar, easy conditions, and the in fact the low real rates or negative real rates in most of the developed markets. So it's positive for risk assets in Asia. It's certainly positive for credit markets in Asia. So we are very much constructive on these markets.
Okay, so two questions on that trend then. I mean, how long do you think the story stays in place in terms of dollar weakness, and how much more room to the downside is there?
So that's an interesting question because we are in a world where it's relatively everybody is easing. All central banks are easing. So it's not the Fed alone trying to ease in an unprecedented market conditions. But the fact is the size of policy and the commitment from the Fed, I think, has a long way to go, which means the dollar weakness, in fact, can go for a while. And if anything, what keeps the dollar stable here is the relative easing as well as the geopolitical tensions. But overall, I do believe that we will see a continued easing, but or the continued weakening of dollar, but it might not be a big debasement or a very sharp move necessarily from here.
Neeraj, good morning. Tanvi joining in this conversation. I do want to mark what's happening with the bond markets over in the US, where the shorter duration seems to be falling out of favor, and people, at least the overnight session, reflected that interest was finding its way into the longer duration bonds. Is there an active trend here?
There is to some extent. I think the overall key here is what are the yields and the return expectations of the short duration of the curve, whether it's in the government bonds or the US investment grade. And it has come a long way from the March sell-off. So obviously the return profile of the short end of the curve looks limited. And hence, I would say we are in a market environment where the markets will keep moving towards what I would call the middle income, which is where you go out on the curve, you go down the credit curves and look for a balance of yield and quality, because you still have to generate income in this world, which is completely starved of income given what has happened.
What's happening with high yields at this point? You know, high yields were the darling of the market when the Fed lent support to that segment. What is your position there?
So we still favor high yield at this point over the investment grade credit. We like high yield. I do think, in fact, if I take a 6 to 12-month view, given the overall yield levels where we are as a starting point, as well as the impact of a weaker dollar, easy financial conditions, low real rates, this is all good for the credit markets. I do think we will see lower default rates and lower downgrade risk than what we anticipated 3 months ago. Hence, you're getting very handsomely rewarded for being in high yield here. You still have to be selective in terms of the sector's single name risk, but overall, I would argue that the prospects for high yield in terms of the returns over the next 6 to 12 months are very strong.